Hey, beautiful people. So today I want to help you feel safe in your body because you know what? Feeling safe is going to help you not only make more income, but be more impactful. So here's the thing. I have been interviewing over 50 women in the last couple of weeks. And in those interviews, I realized that so many women are waiting on the perfect timing to get things done. Yes, perfect conditions, perfect timing. And my follow-up question is it really perfect timing, or do you feel unsafe taking action? So let that sit with you for a second, because if you're watching this, I'm sure there is something that's on your mind, something bigger that you know that you desire to put out there in the world, that you desire to pursue. Maybe it's you need to be more visible on social media or be more visible in the spaces in your job or in your industry. Maybe you know you desire to make more income, and so you need to pitch yourself more often. Maybe you need to start rearranging how your life is set up. You desire to do less hustle, and you desire to trust the team that you work with, so you need to do less at work and really trust those that are around you so that you can have a more balanced life. There is something that you haven't taken action on, and I would be willing to bet, based on a book that I read years ago called You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. And in it, she said that two things are likely going to be true when someone is dealing with something in life. They either believe they are not enough, or they believe they are unsafe. And I believe that she is 99.9% right, because when I have worked with clients, when I have even reflected on myself, those two things are usually the root cause of why I am hesitating, why I haven't taken action, why something just seems so hard. And so I want to take this video and give us a couple of moments, ladies, to really just talk about how to start making feeling safe normal again, even in the crazy world that we feel like we're living in some days. So here's the thing. We have to learn how to feel safe and not just talk about being safe, because those are two things. Sometimes we can be in the midst of a lot of chaos or a lot of crazy things happening, but we can still have this inner peace, this inner safety that we are feeling, and that allows us to be able to handle those situations and have a different perspective in those times. And that's what I want us to practice doing, because let's face it, we have trained ourselves to be tight, to be on watch, to be on the swivel, to be looking around all the time, especially as women. Sometimes as women, we feel like we're always trying to make sure we're not in danger. We're always trying to be safe. Even when I talk to women about whether it's relationships, whether it's job, whether it's being in better social circles, this topic of safety comes up often. And I believe we have not allowed ourselves to feel safe, especially women of color, especially Black women. I feel like we haven't allowed ourselves to practice feeling safe because we're always taught to be on guard. And so I want you to learn to practice feeling safe. Now, you might be saying, Desiree, that means somebody's going to come get me. This means I'm going to miss out on something. I'm not going to use wisdom. I'm not saying not use wisdom. I'm not saying that we don't use the wisdom that God has given us to make sure that we are doing things in the way that is helping us to stay safe. At the same time, do we need to be hyper vigilant? Because hyper vigilant and being vigilant in and of itself, two different things. Hyper vigilant is I'm doing it to the point of now I'm getting a negative return on my efforts. I'm not feeling good. I'm always constantly looking around. I'm eyeing the land in such a way that I don't even feel peace. I never feel a sense of calm. That is being hyper vigilant versus using wisdom versus just checking something out and then resting in it. I want us to practice resting in our peace, resting in safety. So here's a way to start. So if you got a timer, which I'm sure you do because you have a cell phone, and if you don't, then go ahead and use a timer on a phone on a computer or somebody else's phone or on a clock in front of you. And I want you to just take 5 minutes. And I want you to take 5 minutes and be silent. I only want you to hear your breath, hear your heartbeat, hear what other sounds are happening in your space, even if it tends to be a loud space, because sometimes we may not be able to get into a space that's totally quiet, but just being able to silence ourselves, silence the inside of us in those 5 minutes, and focus on our breathing, Focus on the air coming in and out of our lungs. Finding a sense of gratefulness for even the way that our body is operating in that moment. Grateful to God for the breath that is coming in and out. Being grateful for the sounds that we hear or don't hear. Being able to feel our body literally relax into whatever position we're seated in. I just want you to do that for 5 minutes to just calm your nervous system and regulate it. Not in a reactionary situation. This is not something that I'm asking you to do after something has happened. Now, you do it after something happened, that is still a good tactic. But what I want you to do is create this regularity that you are safe, right? And so even as you're sitting there for 5 minutes, you can even tell yourself that I am safe. You can spend time telling yourself what you are grateful for in this space. This is all to just help your brain and your body catch up with each other, that whatever's been going on in your mind, whatever you've been toiling over, running over in your mind, some of those things haven't even happened yet and may not ever happen. This gives your mind and body a time to catch up with each other. It's like, oh, right now, none of that is happening. What's happening right now are all the things that you're grateful for, all the things that you're acknowledging, all the things that you're saying you are. So it's a great time for you to use I am statements. If you have been familiar with that, if you've been on my channel, then you know I talk about I am statements, but talk about what you are, what you feel, what you're grateful for. Just being in that space, helping your body get back to neutral, all right? So I want you to do that, but not just that one time in band camp in the morning, but I want you to choose a morning, a noon, a night, but just put a timer on to remind you or an alarm set to remind you so that you can practice this feeling of peace. So another thing that you can add on to this if you've gotten into the habit of practicing is then I want you to play around with vision. So I believe that we don't use vision enough. Our imaginations are amazing. We literally daydream and picture things in our heads all the day long, and I would bet that a lot of us are picturing things that we don't want to happen. And so what I want you to do is actually start picturing, what do you desire to happen? What do you desire to see? And not just picture it, but to feel it. And so picture yourself, the future version of you, maybe that 6 months away, that year away, that 5 years away, whatever comes naturally to you. But picture that woman. What does she look like? What is she doing? What is she, wearing? I really want you to connect with her. How is she feeling? What's happening in your world in whatever vision that you're casting out in front of you in your mind? And I want you to just feel it. Is it peaceful? Is it exciting? Is it joy? Do you feel great love in that space? Like, what do you feel in that space? And I want you to connect to the feeling of that person. Because, newsflash, future you is current you. You just have not yet implemented the feelings on a regular basis, the actions on a regular basis of that person we see in our head. But that's usually the goal, right? Is to be that future person. But that future person becomes future you because of now you. And so the more that you envision this person in the most successful manner, in the most positive light, and you start to feel those feelings, I want you to jot down those feelings and use those feelings to practice in step 1, the practice time that you have to feel safe. Use those feelings. And you may be saying, like, you know what, Des, how do you create feelings? We know how to create feelings because we know how to create feelings that piss us off. We know how to create feelings to make us mad all the time. I can tell you right now, I can think about a time somebody made me mad 10 years ago and I would get mad all over again, okay? So we know how to create feelings, like literally out of nothing. I'm sure that's happened. Isn't it crazy? Like something happens way long time ago and suddenly you're mad all over again. Same way, you can be happy all over again. You can be joyful all over again. So this is about allowing yourself to create those feelings and being able to jot them down. Remember, those are the ways that you desire to feel and to practice feeling those ways. All right, so after you have done all of that envisioning of your future self and starting to feel what she's feeling, I want you to consider, okay, if I took myself all the way out to that future self, let's say 6 months from now, what would she be proud of me doing today? That is a magic question. That's the question that can really unlock you to begin starting to take action, because now you're practicing feeling safe. You've envisioned this future version of yourself and you're feeling how that person feels. And now you want to tap into, okay, what would she be really proud of me doing today? And then you start being open to the possibilities of taking action. And that is the point. Because when I started this video, it is really a sense of needing this perfect timing, needing these perfect conditions that I have found has stopped not just me, but so many women that I have worked with from taking action on what they believe they ought to be doing with their lives. But when we really start to believe the vision God has given us of who we know we are, and we're like, you know what? She would be really happy I did this today. We start being open to taking action and we start feeling safe. It starts feeling more true to us. And here's the thing, we need the truth, the vision of who God has given us to be, that vision of ourselves that we see in front of us. We have to believe that more is true than the opposite. Because sometimes we believe the opposite more than we actually believe the truth. Because the truth is you are fearfully and wonderfully made. The truth is that you are a boss. Why are you playing games in your life? You are called to do certain things. Like, you ought to be doing it. And so a lot of times we don't end up believing that, and we believe the lie more. And because we believe the lie more, we just won't do anything. We get into analysis paralysis, and that is not it, my friends. We ought not be doing that. So I want you to ask yourself that question, and then 4, start taking the action. Start taking the action. Now that you know what you know, start taking the action and just keep practicing all of these things to continue to allow yourself to begin to feel safe. Now, if you like this video, then you'll really like my main character energy playbook. My main character energy playbook gives you 21 days to get your life together to help you feel that main character energy. And it will really help you stop believing the lie that the things that you desire to see aren't possible and that you have to be perfect to get things done. And there is no such thing as perfection. There's only a such thing as taking action. And I desire to see you take action, ladies. So until the next time, I can't wait to see you in the next video, and go ahead and download that main character energy playbook in the meantime. Bye.